All right. Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Happy Thursday. It is October 2nd. NQ's at all-time highs. Some of my least favorite trading conditions are when the market is at all-time highs. We have very limited structure to work with. We have pretty much no levels of interest to work with when the market is at all-time highs. Been talking about this for quite a few weeks now with this recent strength that we've been seeing. We did have pretty much a couple of weeks of some sideways action, some neutral action, but the market is back into a bullish backdrop right now, almost getting into that first upside fib extension that you can see there, 25191. It's that first NQ fib extension. Game plan for this morning, it's going to be to take it slow. My preferred setup would be down near the 25K, 25025, that previous all time high, that prior day high area. Would not mind seeing a retest and hold of that zone. We'll see how this gap is going to be treated off the open. If it is, if the gap does hold, or it's some sort of gap and go setup, it's going to be very little that I can do here. We're not going to have much to work with other than the overnight high. So, preparing for that, preparing for a potentially slower session, especially with NFP tomorrow. A big part of my edge requires higher time frame structure, requires levels of interest. And so when we don't have that, my job is to really do less. It's to lean off the keys. It's to stay extra patient, not force anything because I want to see some green on the screen, not force anything because I'm bored. That leads to bad habits, right? So let's see what we get this morning. Maybe we'll get the gap and crap and a retest down into 25K. As always, no crystal ball, purely reacting to whatever price shows me. There's our overnight high, 25,180. Volume point of control for the extended hour session is at 108. Prior day high down here, 036. Last week's high and the previous all time high down here at 027. And the prior day volume point of control at 021, and then overnight low 25K. So this is the area I'm interested in down through here. There's your open. A little bit of weakness right off the open there. There's a visual of the gap. Look at that gap. Wow. 168-point gap at the open. We do have a 10 a.m. print this morning. So there is that. We'll see if it actually gets released. We'll see if NFP actually gets released tomorrow as well. Yeah, NFP release might be canceled due to the government shutdown. Absolutely. Good chance of that. NQ just pressing the lows, 25 130 here. Like I said, just staying patient. We have a little divergence with ES. ES is at session highs. Was your opening 5-minute bar closing lower? VWAP and session volume point of control right through here. RTY into session lows. We do have the coaching call after the close today for Traders Think Tank members. Again, looking at this area, I would love to see this area. Can we get down in there? Can we get there? There we go. The old gap and crap. Gap and crap. ES into the lows here. Following suit with NQ. Staying patient right now, like I said. ES coming into prior day high. It's a nice opening drive for the gap and crap setup. Benny in there, nice. All right, NQ starting to get into that prior day high area. Good volume coming in. A pretty wide zone here, so let's see. See how it's going to be treated. Prior day high is 036. Previous all-time high is 027. The lower portion of that little zone there is the overnight low and your prior day close, pretty much right at 25K. ES, no bid at the prior day high. NQ, there's your true test of the prior day high. Pretty good volume this morning. Looks like short starting to take a little profit there at the prior day high. I'd really prefer to see a little more depth here. A little more depth, a little closer to 10 a.m. Prior day high holding so far. No position there. Maybe a little more depth. That's what's tricky about these kind of wider zones. It's like you're going to hit it at the first area and then it comes down through here. Your idea is not technically invalidated. That's how I view it anyway. And so this ends up being all open risk. Makes it a little tricky. A little tricky. You can drop size, of course. Session volume point of control shifted lower. 25,060. Albert, you want the sweep? Yeah, I would love that. Full gap fill with the spring. That'd be delightful. RTY, nice rejection at prior day high and VWAP there. We got Timmy in the chat. What's up, man? Overnight high, gap closing 25K, psych level, nice area of confluence. Yeah, same page. All right, thanks, man. Thank you, sir. All right, it's 10 minutes till 10 a.m. Looks like that little bounce is kind of fizzling out. That's exactly what I was talking about a moment ago. Exactly what I was talking about. Learned that one the painful way. I'm looking at a wide zone, price gets into the first level. It's like, yeah, I'm in. Bam, annihilated. Annihilated. Sometimes you end up missing it too, right? But that's part of it. Now, if that overnight low does fail, I would view this as like a failed higher time frame breakout. Then you're really looking probably back into that 24,800 area. From failed moves comes fast moves in the opposite direction. As the old adage goes. Looking a little better here. Got a true test of the previous all-time high. Still no position for me in the personal. Something like this, I really don't mind waiting until 10 a.m. Stack as much confluence as I can. 10 a.m. reversal time. You have data. We do have good volume though, so that's definitely encouraging. So keeping an eye on the 5-minute right now. Closes up in 90 seconds. You can tell buyers are still liking this area. Not making it easy, but still liking this area. Back in a session volume point of control there at the 60. As of right now, change of character above this point, which is about 72. 72. And 5 minutes till 10 a.m. Nice volume. Let's clean this up a little bit. There we go. Coming back into the lows. So 5-minute close green, no follow through though. May need 10 a.m. here. Gap fill is technically at 995. Still a little bit lower. Right there. Two and a half minutes until 10 a.m. We'll see if this data print even actually comes out, right? But there is a scheduled data print, so chance it may not come out with the government shutdown. NQ, no new low of day made. Break of 72 gives the intraday change of character. There you go. Come on, push. That's better. A little better. See if we get the break here. Let's hold this runner through the print. Trails in profit. If I get nuked with some slippage, c'est la vie. There's the data. Exactly, Chrissy. Thank you, sir. He in the trade. Yep. Currently long. About to get trailed. Trail at 40. So, like I mentioned earlier, skip that first bounce as a first area, kind of upper portion of the zone I was interested in. Skip the second one, that little micro spring. By the third, looking at that 30-second chart, you have more proof that yeah, buyers are stepping in, buyers are here. Let's join them. Break that one down a little bit more in today's coaching call after the close in the Traders Think Tank. Let's see if we could get a break of 72 here. Break of 72 gives the intraday change of character. We're post 10 a.m. It's kind of what we're working with. Yeah, you have that volume point of control here. Intraday structure. Let me see the RTH fib. I got the extension setting on. Let's see this. There we go. So yeah, no surprise there. 38% fib. Start to break that 72 area. I'll lift the trail up into about 58. Still in the runners. No break of the 72 yet. Volume kind of fell off a bit. Let's see if we actually get the break of 72 here. Here we go. That's better. That's better. I need some action to hold above 72. It's that intraday structure point. So I'll lift the trail right now just beneath 50. We'll go 49.5. I'll just keep riding. Keep riding it. Game plan pretty much worked perfectly this morning as far as the buy zone we were looking at. If you've been with us from the start, talked about this area right through here. It's the zone of interest for longs. I'm gonna lift the trail right now just beneath 60. As we get into VWAP in the 50% fib. Who else caught the long? Let me know. I may get trailed right here. Yeah, looks likely. There's the trail. There is the trail. Back to cash. Not bad. Like 30 points. Nothing crazy. NQ back in a session volume point of control. $15 looks good here. See if this candle can continue to show some follow through. ES just sideways. Little barcode there in ES. RTY into overnight low. Looks like trail was a tad premature. That's what it's looking like right now. Right now, just staying patient. Staying patient, waiting for that next entry, waiting for that next setup. Letting that intraday structure develop. Getting back in a prior day high here on an uptick in volume. ES made a fresh session low there. ES is coming into that overnight low. NQ still in this structure. Like that 15-minute hammer did not show follow through. NQ a bit choppy here. Right now, I'm just chilling, knocking out some other tasks while we wait for price to continue to build out this structure and give us another setup. So far, still just with the one trade on the morning. Look at volume is totally falling off again. There you go. NQ into VWAP, resolving a bit higher. Look at that rejection there. Wow. On volume, too. Can we get the flush into 25K? The Mac Studio is starting to get a little sluggish. I may need to upgrade. I've got way too many windows open. Might be time. Mac Pro, the studio's been good to me, man. The studio, let me see what year I got this thing. I got it right when it came out. 2022. It has the M1 Max. $32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, that might not be enough. I mean, I have Tradeovate open. I have Project X open. And I have Edge Pro X open. Currently streaming. I've got YouTube open, the Traders Think Tank, Trading View, multiple Notion tabs, and then like 7 or 8 Safari tabs right here. So it might just be too much. Tab tax, yeah, those tabs eat up a lot of memory. 32 gigs should be more than enough. Maybe it's the chip. I have this little add-on. I forget what is this thing even called? Stats app. And it puts like your usage in the menu bar. Right now, RAM is at 89%, CPU is at 89%. So that's fairly close to the edge. CPU 87. Yeah, CPU 90. Yeah, I think it might be too much. But also very fitting. I just updated like all of my Apple devices yesterday. So it's all part of the plan. It's all part of Tim Cook's plan. If you're at 80%, you're already maxed. Damn. Yeah, I fear you may be correct. NQ just right back into VWAP here. There's a lot of choppiness. Cannot be traded by me personally. Still just with the one play. One and done. A little churn here near VWAP. Coming into the 50% fib. So we nailed the zone for the long. So it's just a tough trade to hold with all the consolidation. If you're still in there, props. Good patience. I've blown 5 XFA copy trading without payout. Just past 2 combine again. What should be the approach, copy trading or not? I would suggest not copy trading. Trade them individually with very light size. Copy trading is for once you have a confirmed edge, you've taken multiple payouts and you want to scale up. If you have not done that yet, there's absolutely no reason to be copy trading. You're just really just throwing money away, honestly. But that's just a super common thing. And with developing traders, new traders, we come into the market, we would just want to trade max size, max leverage, and part of why the failure rate is so high, you just end up blowing up. Don't give yourself enough time to really learn the ropes with light sizing. So light that it feels pointless. Do that for months. You'll be like, oh, okay. I'm actually making money every day, even if it's small. Now let me add size. Now let me scale up. Now let me copy trade. That was like for me, that was like a massive turning point. There was a time where I finally just said, like, man, let me just see if I can make literally $20 a day in the options days, trading a self-funded account. It feels like comically low, like $20 a day. Like, oh, it's too easy. But you do that, you build the consistency for a few months, and then it's like it shifts your mindset. ES, nice bounce versus that previous all-time high, 6757, last week's high. Got the overnight low right through there as well. That is the patience I want to achieve after blowing 5 XFAs. It happens, man. It happens. If you're still interested in trading and you still enjoy trading, it's like keep at it. Keep at it. It's worth it. It's worth it. But just take it slow. Be willing to take it slow. Extend your time horizon. Give yourself more time than you think it'll take. And that's when things will really start to happen. NQ knocked down again at VWAP right there. That 50% fib sell zone and VWAP. Tough spot for NQ. ES right back into the lows. I've not seen another entry here following the entry that I took. So for longs anyway. The shorts, you had the opening drive, and then you could make a case for that 2-hour trader framework as well. So I'm just chilling. Do we know if that data print at 10 a.m. actually came out? Oh, it looks like it was delayed due to the shutdown. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not a it's not a good sign for NFP tomorrow. I would not bank on NFP coming out tomorrow. Which means it may be a slow Friday. I'll give this session a max of another 25 minutes. Fed's Logan is currently speaking. We have some Fed speak ongoing. 500 per week, is it a good target? A good target is trading well for the week. Can you trade well every day? Can you follow your rules? Can you respect your strategy? Try that. Try that. Forget profit targets. Can you trade well for a week? Then can you do 2 weeks? Then can you do 3? So on and so forth. The scoreboard, the P&L is always there, but you only get that profitability if the process is really locked in and tight, and your ability to not deviate from the process. I mean, there's so many skill sets that go into actual profitable trading. So many different things. Trading well is the target, not P&L. Exactly, Kevin. Yep. Yeah. Long term edge, and then respecting the process, not deviating from it. That's the whole game. So you need the strategy, you need the framework, and then you need you need the ability to follow it. And oftentimes that part is going to be a little bit trickier just because of human nature. And that's not even discussing all the different nuances that are involved with every single strategy. Because as we know, if you've been in the market for any amount of time, not every setup looks exactly the same. There's a lot of nuance and details involved, and it can have a material impact on the quality of the play. NQ, this is quite slow here. I mean, we're talking about pure barcode. Look at the 5 minute. It's like 5 minute barcode that is just kind of drifting higher. I like to. I'll keep it going till 11. We'll see if we get some action at 11. I wouldn't mind one more opportunity. There we go. It's rolling over a bit more. That 2 hour trader framework took some patience, but worked out. And Q coming into the lows. All right, it's getting more interesting now. Good volume. Not exhausted by bad scalp trading, Rich? That's good, man. That is a win, even if it doesn't feel like it. That is tremendous. See if we can crack the lows. And Q, a little bit of a bounce there versus the 027. Last week's high, previous all-time high. Des, we have the exact same signal generator. So what you see is what I see. Watching the bot, I've said this a few times, but watching the automation intraday is not why I created it. The goal is to let it do its thing. If I'm going to watch the charts, I'm just going to trade. NFP is scheduled for tomorrow, but it's probably not happening. Government shutdown. So no data. No data is coming out. That data print that was scheduled today at 10 a.m. did not come out. So I suspect that NFP will not come out as well, which is too bad because we like that volatility. Here we go. Let's see if we can actually see price flush the low. I would like to see some reaction into overnight low. Current session low is 14.5. Caught the high to the tick and went for full stop. Yeah, it's a good time to shut it down. For me, the rule is if I have 3 losses in a row, that tells me my read is off. Something is a little off in what I'm seeing. Now it's going to be different for everyone based on your hit rate and things like that, but it's a good time to pause and kind of reconsider typically the urge, the brain wants to remedy that pain. You start getting that tingle to add size, right? Start getting the tilt jitters. So if you can stop before those come up, that's a win right there. That is a win. You got to be comfortable with a red trade. Got to be comfortable with a red day. It's part of the business. Got to be able to sit with it and not need to immediately remedy that situation. Still looking at this zone between prior day high and down into overnight low. Although right now I'm more interested in right down here. And the reason is because that would set up potentially an intraday spring, but also the overnight low spring and a true gap fill. Luckily, tilt has never been much of an issue for me. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Every trader is going to kind of have their own demons, if you will. If you know what they are and you know what triggers them, you can create rules and frameworks to avoid them. Tilt is a big one for a lot of traders, though. Wanting to get back to green. Hesitation, then FOMO. Yeah, that makes sense. That's another super common one. That FOMO then can cause tilt, though. So if you're acting on the FOMO, that may be a form of tilt right there. Like if that FOMO causes you to put on some trades, it's like, oh, I missed it. Let me just chase it a little higher. Let me take this entry now. That's tilt. That's tilt right there. Only down by 300 becomes 3K plus on tilt. Yeah. I've been there, man. Yep. And then you're thinking, then you're thinking about, wow, I probably should have just stopped at the 300. Oh man. Yeah, I know that one. For me, it was always being at some high watermark, like being green on the day and then taking one more trade and putting a dent in the profit. So let's say you're up 1,000, you take one more trade. Okay, now you're only up 600. For me, the mindset was, all right, let me just get back to where I was. And oh my God, that has wiped me out more times than I can say. That one's, whew, that's a dangerous one right there. So NQ getting into the lows. We are coming into 11 a.m. finally. So I'll give this sesh probably another 5 minutes, see if we get some sort of setup that kind of aligns with 11 a.m. If not, go ahead and call it a morning, one and done. Just one setup this morning, one trade. There you go. New low of day. A little uptick in volume with 11 a.m. So far, that's an intraday spring. See if that overnight low gets undercut. ES is just pounding session lows all morning. RTY pretty much the same. Tips or tricks on hesitation. Kind of depends on why you're hesitating. Are you looking for more confirmation? Are you unsure about the strategy? Do you lack conviction? Confirmation. So do you wait for confirmation? If you wait for confirmation, you got to understand the edge is depending on what setups you take, but the edge is built into that spot right there, that little window in time. So the more time that you wait, the more the edge you're giving away. NQ into 25K right now, overnight low. So we'll see if we get a little spring setup kind of with the prior day close right through there. Be the gap fill spot as well. So far it looks like nope. There's the gap fill though. Complete gap fill. So like I mentioned earlier, there's a line in the sand spot. For buyers. Reason being is if this area fails, that's pretty much a failed breakout, right? Look at that 2 hour candle. Look at that daily bar as well. Daily bar still has a 6 hours on it, but currently shaped like a shooting star. See the hourly. See that 30-minute. So far, a decent little overnight low spring. Coming back into that previous session low. Basically right here. Yep. Yep. That is what we like right there. So the faster you enter, the more you get faked out. Yeah, there's a fine line between confirmation and then hesitation, honestly. Are you swapping time frames? That can be an issue. Really, what I think the solution is to have a deeper understanding of what your A plus trade looks like. And that comes through daily documentation of that trade, regardless of whether or not you're in it. So let's say you see the setup, like today, if you saw the setup that you like to trade, documenting. And when I say documenting, I mean with the benefit of hindsight, screenshotting the chart and marking it up. So annotating all the little details that made it a high quality entry, and then just trying to wrap your head around, what that best entry would be, how you can nail it in the future. And that's a daily exercise. And you can even look at the ones that looked good but then ended up failing and trying to understand why they failed. For me, that was a very effective exercise for improving the quality of the setups that I was taking, really having an in-depth understanding of the quality of the trade, and then being able to see it in the future. Because really, I mean, this game is just a pattern recognition game. A lot of these patterns, they just repeat. Now they're gonna look slightly differently each time, and even then, even if it is an A plus trade, you're not gonna have a 100% hit rate. So still riding the long. Took an initial partial, peeled some off instantly. That was a little premature, but I thought the intraday spring might just go. We get the better setup, the overnight low spring, jump into full position there at the low where you can see it, scale out, and we still have some runners. I'm trailing right now at trying to trail at 025. There we go. 025. And what I would like to do is peel a little more off into session volume point of control. But that is a picture perfect overnight low spring setup. Any APT trades today? Yeah, it took a short today. And the idea was valid, but its entry was a little early. Let me bring that intraday fib back. And Q, I want to see this prior day high, previous all-time high area holding. If it doesn't, my trail is just beneath there at 2.5. It's kind of where we're at right here. So again, the idea was the overnight low spring setup. Solid morning after this one. And trail may get taken right now. There it is. There's the trail. Back to cash. All right. We'll call it right there. There's the day, 2 for 2. Today required a lot of patience. If you were in too early over here, you probably got beat up. We talked about that earlier. Scroll back if you missed it. You have the nice kind of intraday spring right through here. Price getting a little deeper into the zone that we wanted. And remember, the zone was between prior day high and the overnight low. So it's a wide zone, which is unfavorable. But that's one of the realities of trading. Looking for buying activity all all through here. Then you get the another intraday spring setup NQ undercutting the low. That one shows a little bit of a bounce, but it just rolls over, and you get the superior setup, which is the overnight low spring setup. And this has the benefit of completely filling the gap. Look how explosive that bounce is. 50 points. I was looking for more there. I was looking for a return back into the structure high in this area. And we get trailed out at 2.5. All good. Call it there. That's a wrap on the morning. I'm pretty happy with it. We'll take it. Hope you guys had a good one. We'll be live tomorrow. It sounds like there's not going to be any NFP. So that's a bit unfortunate. I like that volatility with NFP. For the rest of this morning, really the main focus is, let me clear this chart up a little bit. The focus is whether buyers can defend the breakout point. So basically, if 25K fails to hold, that is not a good look for the higher time frame structure. That would be a failed breakout. That would be a big time failed breakout. So 25K, your main watch. Hope you guys had a good morning. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank today. I got some errands I got to take care of here later this morning. And then we have the coaching call after the close today for Traders Think Tank members. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.